to the amazing. Well, welcome, family. It is 7:30. We start on time, we end on time because what we value your time. Thank you so much for joining us. We have an amazing all-star cast of characters lined up today with you in mind. This will likely be finger licking good. Yes, something absolutely amazing that you will want to share and that you will be able to take on and do great things. As we are in Talk Up Toastmasters, I want to remind you to Talk Up Toastmasters. If you bring in 5 new members from February 1st to March 31st, you will get the Talk Up Toastmasters Award. And because we're talking up Toastmasters, certainly we have a delightful arrangement of people who are going to help you do just that. I will not belabor the time. I'm going to introduce you to our amazing District Director, Jackie Hauser, who is the queen of club growth herself and has put together an amazing assortment of people who can share Toastmasters and serve it up well. Join me in welcoming Toastmaster District Director, Jackie Hauser.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, here we are, the last Tuesday of the month. We're excited tonight that we are having what we call a fireside chat, a cozy conversation with our past international president, Lark Doley, joined by Vita Stanley, Denise Carpenter, and Erica May will join us via pre-recorded video as she is actually out of the country as we speak. Tonight, we want to talk about membership, the world of Toastmasters. We are all struggling in the area of membership. And we get this question as district leaders all the time. Membership. How do we grow our membership? What do we do? We're struggling with membership. It's a huge problem. Well, what we want you to do tonight is grab your cup of coffee, whatever makes you cozy. We're going to have a candid and pointed conversation about membership and how we can grow our membership within the next 4 months. Because all of our clubs would like to be distinguished, not only because we want to be distinguished, but because we want to have quality club meetings and learn and grow from other people. We want to do that. And we want to make sure that we are growing our clubs in the next 4 months. So we're going to have a really great conversation about membership and things that we should do in our clubs and different ideas and suggestions. So what I'm going to ask is that you step out of your comfort zone, because this is going to require you to step out of your comfort zone if you want to see results. Joining me again is Lark Doley, a past international president, and she is known as the Golden President, because everything she did was absolutely golden. If you remember the wow factor, that was Lark Doley. We have Vita Stanley joining us. Vita is the charter president of Empowering Ladies Toastmasters Clubs, and she's going to talk about the VPPR space and that public relations that she did to help bring all of those members to that particular club. We also have Toastmaster Denise Carpenter joining us tonight, and she is going to talk about corporate clubs. If you all are corporate clubs, raise your hand, your virtual hand, or your hand, or put a heart or emoji somewhere if you are in a corporate club and you want to learn how to grow your membership in a corporate club. She's going to talk to us and have some ideas and strategies around the corporate club building. And I will be your moderator for this evening, bringing us all together to have this candid conversation. We will begin our discussion with Erica May. Let's hear what Erica May has to say. Toastmaster Jesse Nunley, if you would, please roll the video of Erica May.
Hello, my name is Erica May, and I'm the Public Relations Manager for District 43 this program year. But prior to becoming the PRM, I was the VPM, the Vice President of Membership of my home club for 18 months. During my tenure, we checked off all of the boxes on the Distinguished Club Program Report. Our membership averaged from 20 to 25 members. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the strategies, processes, and tactics that I used and found successful that helped us increase and maintain our membership. Hello, my name is Erica May, and I'm the Public Relations Manager for District 4. As the VP of Membership, you are essentially a salesperson. Yes, you are in sales, and if the thought of being in sales makes you cringe, this is an opportunity for you to be challenged. See, I previously worked in sales, so I was familiar with the process. But as the VPM, you are going to have to explain the benefits of Toastmasters. You're going to learn how to overcome objections and become thorough in your follow-up. Now, when we say sales, what determines if I can sell a product or a service is I must believe in it. I believe in Toastmasters. I consider myself a Toastmasters enthusiast. And what is our product that we're selling? Communication, leadership skills, professional development, personal growth. That's what we're selling. What is our product? Well, as our former district director, Terry Burks, said, and may she rest in peace, our product is our club meeting. So you first have to ask yourself if you have a quality club meeting, therefore a quality product. See, it was easy for me to sell and to follow up with potential members because we had an environment that made people want to return, that made people want to join our club. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, do you have a quality meeting? Because it doesn't matter if the VPPR puts out all these great things about your club, and as the VPM, you invite people in and you follow up. What will be their experience when they arrive? Is what you said about Toastmasters true? When they come, are they seeing great communicators and leaders? Or do they see that the agenda is not filled? Is there even an agenda? Are people communicating well? Is the meeting flowing seamlessly? We must first ask ourselves, do we have a quality product? And if the answer is no, then first we need to work on that.
All right, we are recapping what she just said. As members, VPs of membership, we are in sales, or actually not just VP of memberships, all of our members. Our product is our club meeting. We should hone in our presentation skills, follow-up skills, and our ability to overcome objections. So using this as an opportunity to grow versus feeling like we are selling, and being able to explain to someone why they should join your club. These are the thoughts of PRM Erica May. I am now going to pause and move to Lark. And I'm going to ask Lark to give us her thoughts on this part of membership and some thoughts of what Erica said, if you want to share or expound on that.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Erica's presentation is golden. And we always talk about the gold of our organization whenever I'm present. I believe that we need to share the gold of Toastmasters with more and more people. And if I had it my way, the 8 billion people on the face of the planet would all become members of Toastmasters. Because what is more valuable to us than improved communication and leadership skills, becoming effective in communication and leadership? What sets us apart from other individuals with the same job skills? And that is our communication and leadership skills. So I agree with everything Erica said. I believe very strongly in her comment about a quality product. I belong to 3 Toastmasters clubs, and I believe in the quality of the product of those clubs. But it's not just the quality club meeting, but it's also us as club officers ensuring that our members' needs are being met. So I happen to be a VP membership this year, and I believe that I sell our product. But the way that I sell our product is I ask why. Why did they attend a Toastmasters Club meeting? What do they want to gain from Toastmasters? And how did they enjoy the club experience at my club? So I always ask them why. And then I ask them, and how did they find out about our club? Because the only way that we can have guests attend our meetings is through word of mouth and us inviting guests to come to our meetings, but we also need to publicize our meetings. And we found out that social media is a key to bringing guests into our club meetings. And then I agree, we need to sell the benefits of Toastmasters to our guests so that they will join us and share in the benefits that we have all gained.
All right. Well, one of the things you said was using social media. Let's talk about that. Let's pivot and go there. Vita Stanley, I'd like to call on Vita to
Here
talk
I
about.
am.
Yes, I would like for you to talk about what that looks like. You've had success with inviting people and bringing in an astronomical number of people. Can you speak to that point? The
I can.
VPPRs. Yes.
I can. So, social media is the blessing and the curse, right? And what we want to do is we want to find those ways to leverage social media to further our goodness and not so much the bad things that are out there and the negativity that is often associated with social media. So first off, let me apologize for being off camera. I have bandwidth issues this evening. So I would rather you hear me and see a still picture than have me glitch. So I'm using my still picture, but social media. So when I saw a post, I was in between clubs. I'd left my corporate club and I was looking for a new Toastmaster home. I had just attained my DTM and I wanted to make sure that I kept up my Toastmasters experience and stayed involved because my involvement with Toastmasters was to meet new people, but to also help those people along their journey because I know how hopeful Toastmasters was for me. So when I saw a post about a new virtual club wanting to form during COVID, that was primarily geared towards women, empowering ladies, yay, I took that opportunity to reach out to my network and I challenged them to say, hey, look, you all are talking about bettering yourselves, being better leaders, better communicators, getting over your fear of public speaking that is up there with death. So here's an opportunity for you to leverage that and join a club that meets virtually weekly, and you can come and you can do whatever it is that you want to do at the pace that you choose so that you can grow yourself and actually glean experiences from it. I tell folks that Toastmasters isn't necessarily about speaking. You don't ever have to give a speech in Toastmasters. We'd love if you did, but you don't have to. But Toastmasters is about learning from others. You can learn what to do and what not to do. And so leveraging social media, we were able to identify people who were interested in making a difference in their careers and in how they presented themselves. And so they all came to the club and got involved in different levels, and folks started giving speeches, even though, I'm not a big proponent of newbies. Like, I don't want you to think that you have that pressure on you to speak, but they definitely stepped out of their shells and helped make the club successful.
All right. Thank you, Vita. Thank you for sharing. We have a question in the chat, and the question comes from Luzanne, and she says, if a new member joins the club for a short-term goal, what are some strategies to keep them? All right, Lark, go ahead.
They will be so inspired by your club that they will want to stay, is what I always say. I truly believe that when guests walk into our meetings, if we provide that supportive, positive environment, that they will want to stay. But what I would say to them after they've completed that short-term goal is I would say, what else could you gain from Toastmasters? Now that you've been with us, how do you think we could help you in other areas of your life, in your personal life, in your professional life? What other skills could we help you gain that would support your life? And then go from there.
All right. Vita.
I agree, Lark. I think that it's important that we don't just stop. We don't allow them to stop at the short-term goal. We have to give them, well, the club itself has to be a place where they feel as though they are valued and appreciated in learning. And if you create a hospitable environment where people are getting the food and the nourishment, if you will, that they need in order to feel as though they're growing in the space, getting them to stay around won't necessarily be a hard sell because they've come to know the people, they've come to like the experiences, and they've connected on so many different levels that, okay, you've achieved this short-term goal. Let's talk about what's next. How can we expand upon that? How can you help this club now that you've achieved that? Because I think that people need to understand that, yeah, we're here for you, but you're also here to help make the club better as well.
Oh, I love that.
Great. Awesome. There's another question in the chat from our club growth director. Would you share why you joined and why you stay?
Do you
And
want
I'll ask both of you all that question. Yes.
Okay, I'll start. So I joined Toastmasters. I had heard of the Toastmasters before, but I thought that I was a speaker before and I didn't need anything like Toastmasters. So I joined Toastmasters. I'd started a new company, TIAA, and they had a corporate club, a really great corporate club. And I wanted to meet new people. And I thought a good way to do that would be to join Toastmasters. And so I went to Toastmasters the first time and I was floored by the people speaking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so great. How do I get there? I thought I was good, but this is not anywhere near what they're doing. But then I also didn't want Toastmasters to change me so much that I wasn't genuine and authentic to myself as a public speaker from an engagement perspective with the audience and being able to connect. What I found was Toastmasters allowed me to learn so much more about being a better speaker, not just necessarily knowing how to speak, but to be a better speaker and how to connect and engage with the audience, how to leverage the power of the pause, how to be cognizant of the filler words. Now I'm at a place where, having reached Distinguished Toastmaster, which is not something that a lot of folks do, and I'm very proud of that, I feel like my job now is to help people along their journey. Maybe DTM isn't for you, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something within the Toastmaster realm that is going to help you be a better whatever it is you want to be. So that's why I stay, and that's why I joined.
I joined because I was an entrepreneur at the time that I went to my meeting in 1990. I needed to be able to speak articulately to potential investors. And by the way, at that time, those potential investors were all male. As a female and as a small, petite female, I needed to have the power of my voice for those discussions with these male investors. And we did acquire some investment. So I will tell you that that's the result of joining Toastmasters, one of the first results. But I learned about the leadership opportunities in Toastmasters after that. And I will tell you that I have gained so much from pursuing every leadership opportunity in this organization, beginning with the area director to the division director. And then I took a break. I thought that was the farthest I would go in leadership until I was encouraged to move into the trio roles. And that at the time was Lieutenant Governor Marketing, Education, and then District Governor at that time. Then I stopped again. So my leadership journey has been one of starts and stops, but I am thrilled that it actually has been that type of journey because it's given me time to rest and understand the learnings that I've gained and then to progress in those leadership learnings after that. Why do I stay? Just as Vita said, I stay because if I can do anything to support others in their communication and leadership journey, then I want to be there for them. And one of the benefits of Toastmasters that we rarely discuss is that of friendship. I have made lifelong friends in this organization, so that's another reason I stay, is to continue making friendships, grooming friends around the world.
Thank you, Lark and Vita. And with that, learning more about why you joined and why you stayed, tell us, how do you use your stories to bring in new members? Because that's what we're here. We want to hear the meat and potatoes on how to bring people in. So how do you use your stories and share your stories to bring in new people?
Do you want to
Vita?
start, Vita?
I can. Part of my storytelling as it relates to attracting new people is just telling them my path. I didn't know what Toastmasters was about. I had heard the term, but when I got there, I learned that it was so much more than just public speaking. And so part of that is asking people, what is it that you want out of this experience? Toastmasters is an individual journey. Yeah, there are paths that you take, but it's still an individual journey. Yes, there will be people that go along these paths with you, but it's still an individual journey. So what is it that you're wanting to get out of this Toastmasters experience, and how can we help you get there? How can we help you learn what you can learn to be, borrowing from another term, all that you can be? And whatever it is that that looks like for you, because it's not the same for everybody. And so making sure that people feel comfortable enough engaging, making sure people feel comfortable enough in understanding, and understanding the structure of Toastmasters, but also understanding how you can extract value from Toastmasters is essential to keeping people engaged. So sharing my story, telling them how I came in knowing nothing but wanting to learn, and then how I was able to progress through my journey thanks to people who took an interest in my progression, and being a part of a club that was high flying. I mean, my club was like DCP, top of the house, except for their first year of chartering. They were always winning all of the awards. We would put up our banner at the meeting, and we had all of these ribbons. And we would talk about the ribbons, and we would talk about engagement, and we would talk about how you can help us get more ribbons, how you can get your own ribbons. We talked about all of those different things. And people like to win, and they want to be associated with winners. So we walked it and we talked it. And I think because we were able to do that, we were able to continue to engage people. And then people were going out and talking about their Toastmasters experience, because they would come to the meetings and have such a good time, such an engaging time, that they would go out and talk about it, and then they would bring others along with them.
Thank you for that. And what I'm hearing is sharing your story, the fun, what we do, not because, oh, we need you, but hey, come have fun with us. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sorry. We're sharing the fun aspects of it, but understanding that there's growth that's happening in there. Like, we're growing through fun. We're not just, browbeating you. You need to do a speech. You need to do this. You need to do that. You're on level 2. You only done one speech this year. We started, and this is something that we did within Empowering Ladies. We talked about what you wanted, what your goals were as an individual. And you talked about your goals, and then we kind of matched your goals up with the club's goals. And how do you fit in the club's success? So you became part of a wheel that was going to continue to move forward and gain momentum. And so you bought into that, and then you were committed to your success, but also the club's success.
All right. If you're taking notes, what I'm hearing her say is make sure that we understand what our new members need and show them how their goals will contribute to the success of the club collectively, how they can win and the club will win as well. Lark, is there anything you want to add to this, or are you ready to move on?
That was beautifully stated. I just want to emphasize what Vita said about Every member's journey is unique. It is their journey, and we are there to support them in their journey, whatever that journey is. I probably have the longest journey from being an area director to serving as president of this organization. And that was my journey. Doesn't mean it's anybody else's journey. So I think it is incredibly important that we remember to meet the unique needs of each of our members.
Well put, well put. I am going to bring in Denise Carpenter. Denise is currently serving as Region 5 advisor, but she is also somewhat of the unofficial liaison with the Walmart clubs. I want to bring Denise in on this discussion to talk to our corporate clubs, or to those VPMs and VPPRs that are in the corporate clubs, because they're struggling as well with a limited amount of people that they can actually pull or find for their club because they're closed clubs. So Denise, talk to us about that and give us some insight on how to bring in or gain new members in a corporate club.
All right. I would love to talk to you about what to do with corporate clubs, my favorite topic. Oh, we might not have enough time for as much excited as I get about this topic. Okay, there are so many things that you can do to get corporate clubs involved. Let's start with, does anybody know what the difference between a mentor and a sponsor is? What's a mentor? A mentor is one that will help you get to the next level, whatever that is for you. They're going to help guide you, coach you along the way. A sponsor is one that is going to pat you on the back and then go tell everybody else how great you are. So if you have a sponsor in your corporation that is going to tell everybody how great Toastmasters is, and they've got a level of influence, a lot of times we think they have to be with a title, a VP title or a senior director title, whatever it is in your company, but they don't really have to be. They just have to be somebody who has influence in the company. They may have a slew of mentees. They may be a VP. They may be your CEO. It just depends on how your organization is organized. Find a sponsor that will just brag about Toastmasters and how good it is. Now, another thing that you might have the sponsor do is give you a little bit of money. That always makes it a little bit easier too, is when you have a little bit of money to spend so that you can recognize your members as they achieve goals. Another thing that we've done is we don't necessarily just go after the potential member themselves. We go after their leaders. We go talk to the managers and the leaders, and we have gone on what we call road shows. It's kind of like an open house, but we go to them and then we tell them what Toastmasters can do for them. We use all the corporate buzzwords like empower your associates, invest in them, show them that you believe in them. And when you do that, then they get excited and they're like, you know what? This one person, they've got so much potential. I know they can do it. I just need them to speak up a little bit. So that's another thing that we do, is we go after the leaders and we encourage them to sponsor their members, their associates, to join. And then another thing we do, which is kind of a sales technique, is we have open enrollment. You can join Toastmasters at any time, right? Anytime. But when we have open enrollment, that gives them a deadline to sign up. They sign up 2 weeks later, sure, we'll still take them, but they don't know that, right? So we tell them to come on and sign up, and we always try to line that up with the Toastmaster semester. So pay periods are April and October. We do open enrollments in March and September. So that way we're getting everybody built up to start for that new September or that new semester. We do that. We try to do that every 6 months. We also work with our resource groups. A lot of corporations have resource groups these days. They're called many things in different corporations. We have resource groups that will sponsor members to join Toastmasters. They will pay for their dues. They will follow up with them. They will give them speaking opportunities at their town halls and things like that. So there's all different places in your corporation. You just need to go find them. And sometimes they're a little hidden. You just go find the right people to bring those out. If you've got an onboarding program, get involved in the onboarding program so that people know that you exist. If you have If you don't have a website, a SharePoint site, or whatever you use, get one, because everybody needs to be able to find how to get a hold of people in your corporation. There are so many different things that you can do. And like I said, I could talk for the next hour on what to do for, whoops, my alarms even tell me it's time to be quiet. So, but I could keep talking, but I will go ahead and pause for now. But I'm sure I've got a few more nuggets if you have time later. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Denise, for that. And I know that corporate clubs, like I said, you all have a different than community clubs in terms of recruiting and how do you find members. So Denise Carpenter is a great resource to talk about, or to talk to you post this particular meeting if you want to know more about or learn more about how to recruit in your corporate club. Now, let's talk about recruiting and retention. Jesse, if you would, please play Erica May's next segment to us about recruitment and retention as it relates to membership.
As the VPM, you are responsible for recruitment and retention. The two R's, recruitment and retention. As VPM, I would tell my club, I'm just as concerned with current members as I am with obtaining new members. So I would like to check the gauge of our current members and try to retain those as much as possible. That means that if someone hasn't come to meetings, just shooting them an email, hey, we miss you. Is everything okay? And also, what I would love to do is support and promote the members' activities that they may have going on outside of the club. For instance, one of our members was a business owner and she was having a grand opening. Well, I made sure to send an email out and announce it at the meeting about her activities and encourage those who could to show up and support. We had another member that was on the news, so I made sure I shot that out via email. And this is without these members asking me to promote what they had going on. I promoted it because, hey, they're members and this is a network and we want to support them. So that's one of the benefits of membership. Now, recruitment, that's a heavy hitter. That is a monster. And recruitment is everyone's responsibility. If you are familiar with the Toastmasters promise, we promise that we will invite others to meetings so that they will see the benefits. So, and we have a good membership base that does that. So I would be responsible for capturing that guest information, answering guest questions, following up with them. And so here are some of the strategies that I used. One is that I had an email list. So once a guest would come, I would add them to an email list. And I have this list of guests that have visited our club, but they have not joined for whatever reason. And each month I would send them what's going on in our club, what our meeting schedule was. If anything interesting was happening, I would send out at least one email per month, just telling them what's going on in the club and inviting them. And with my email list, I converted at least, I'm not looking at it right now, but at least 3 members off that list. So they visited, then there was a gap between the time that they visited and they joined. But because of the follow-up and me keeping them in the loop, they did eventually come back, engage, and join. Then also for recruitment, we would have open houses. So we have to market those, work with the VPPR and the rest of the executive board to market those events. And those were primarily our main focusing when it comes to recruitment, just making sure that we're capturing that guest information. And I also kept track of my conversion rate. So the conversion rate is keeping when someone comes in as a guest, so that's a number. keeping that number as it grows. So if you have 20 guests and 10 of those guests join, you have a 50% conversion rate. I believe our conversion rate was around 25%. But I did keep track of that just so for the purposes of metrics. So you want to know where you are. I also would keep track of how long it took someone to join. So from that email list, this person may have first visited in October, visited again in October, but did not join until January, February. How long does it take to convert? These are some of the metrics that you want to explore in your club. And once you start to track these, you'll be able to see what opportunities you have for improvement. So the 2 R's for the vice president of membership are recruitment, bringing new people in, and retention. How do you retain the members that you have and make sure that they are having a good club experience?
All right. All right. I think she has a follow-up slide. Is there one more, Jessie? Yes, her recap. You are responsible for member recruitment and retention. All members are responsible for maintaining a quality club environment, and we want to celebrate members' accomplishments and be consistent with following up with guests. This is Erica's advice to us for recruitment and retention as it relates to bringing in new members and keeping our members. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we're going to move to our panelists and ask them to give their thoughts on recruitment and retention at this juncture.
Well, I will mention a couple of things that Erica didn't mention that we use, just some tools we use. I absolutely agree with her that anytime a member is consistently absent, it is so important to reach out to them and find out if they're having any issues, personal issues, and just to tell them how much you care about them and that you're there to support them. We use WhatsApp as a communication vehicle. And what we do, or what I do as the VP membership, after every one of our meetings, I summarize, highlight what happened in the meeting and send a message out in WhatsApp. And I try to make it fun and tell them some of the fun aspects of the meeting. We use Meetup to recruit members. That is the social media tool that has worked best for the club of which I am the vice president membership. We had used Meetup, quit using it, and came back to Meetup because we realized there was a huge difference in having that visibility on Meetup. We stopped receiving guest emails. We used Find a Club from the Toastmasters website and Meetup, and then we just used Find a Club. And that's when our guest emails dropped off. So we're back with Meetup, and we had 6 guests at our last meeting and thought that was fabulous. Something else that we do is a pre-member orientation. I know that Erica is going to talk about onboarding, and I love her onboarding information, but we actually hold a meeting before we accept their membership application, talk with them about the Toastmasters Promise, talk with them about the Toastmasters organization, specifically about our club, about pathways, about meeting roles, about club officer roles. We allow them to ask any questions that they have, and then we accept their membership application and their dues payment. So that's something that we do that's a little different. Also, individual contacting of members and guests. This week, I am the Toastmaster for my club meeting on Thursday night. I have individually emailed each member of the club, asked them what role they want to fill, also connected with them if they've not been to a meeting recently. So I believe in the power of individual contacts in order to engage our members and our guests.
Oh, that's interesting. The pre-member orientation. So let me ask you this, Lark. Have you seen a high rate of success with turning that guest into member by doing the pre-meeting versus the post-meeting?
Well, this is interesting. As I said, this club has been doing pre-member orientations for years. and it has been successful for them. They want everyone who joins to understand that it requires work to improve your communication and leadership skills. And we want them to commit to spending that time in order to gain the benefits of Toastmasters. So it's worked for them. We've not done, well, I shouldn't say that. We do educate them afterwards in our club management tool and pathway. So we hold another meeting that is more of an onboarding meeting to explain pathways to them and to work with them to be sure that they choose their path so that they are engaged in pathways, and how to sign up for meeting roles. We use Easy Speak as our club management tool, and we want to show them how they sign up for roles in Easy Speak and be sure that they have their user ID and their password.
Okay. Anyone else want to jump in here? Vita, Denise?
I think they pretty much covered it all.
Okay. There was a comment in the chat about people not checking email or everyone not checking email. And I want to stay here for a minute and talk through that, because that is absolutely the case. We can be ghosted by email or text, but and this is something that I think I'm going to put my thoughts out there, and I'd like to hear from you all. I truly think that when we have members or guests that come, I heard Erica speak about creating an email list. I personally think having more ways of contacting or asking that particular person what's the best way of contacting them, or multiple sources, could be our opening or an advantage there to staying connected to them. What are you all thoughts? How do you combat that particular comment, or the question of how do we reach people when everyone doesn't check email?
So if you're relying on email as your primary mode of communication and engagement, you are likely going to lose, because people are not checking email, or they are reading subject lines. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening in email, and a lot of times things can get missed. But if your club is committed to engagement, then you're reaching out to people directly. You are putting information on your social media platforms and leveraging that. I may not check my email, but I can tell you that I checked my Facebook, and if there's something that's on Facebook or in my Instagram feed or wherever else you get your social media fix from, then you'll see information about the club and what's happening. Make sure that you're putting information out there that's enticing, and that it's going to be eye-catching, and that it's going to be something that people want to, oh man, look what I missed, let me get back to that, as opposed to just saying, yeah, we had a meeting on Thursday. 5 people came. That doesn't necessarily make me want to come back. We had dynamic speakers at our meeting on Thursday. You don't have to tell how many people were there, but this is what we learned from the meeting. Please show up next time, and you too can get these lessons. This is what we have on deck for our next meeting. Giving people the carrots to kind of keep them involved and engaged, and giving them different ways to get the information. But burying information in an email, or all of your information in an email, while informative and maybe a resource to go back and search, is going to lose momentum, I think.
Well, Jackie, I like your comment about ask them. Ask the members, what is the best way to communicate with them? But that's why we use WhatsApp, we use emails, we've got Easy Speak, we certainly have a Facebook page, we've got a club website. So we have multiple ways, and we use all of those to promote the club and to promote the club meeting. So I totally agree, but I love your idea of asking them, what's the best way to communicate with you? I literally send individual emails, individual texts, individual WhatsApp messages, whatever it takes to connect with them and have them respond back to me. I do have a list like Jackie talks about. I have a list, a contact information sheet, and it has all of the contact information that they have given us. So this is with guests, and then when they're converted to members, obviously then I have their member information. But I track every time I contact them. And because I'm Toastmaster this week, I was contacting each and every one of the members and the guests. And I was looking back at how many times I've contacted some of our guests. And that was so fascinating that Jackie said she tracks how long it takes from the first time that she hears from them, whether it's via email or whatever it is, to when they're converted. And I've got some people on the list that have been on the list for months, but I continue to try to connect with them. And I hope, as she has done, to convert them to become members of our club at some point in the future.
Yes. Denise, would you like to weigh in here before we move on to the last segment?
Sure. One of the things that we do is similar to what Lark was talking about, where we have every Monday at 11 o'clock, we have an intro to Toastmasters session. So anytime someone asks about Toastmasters, they just automatically get invited to that meeting and we can talk about it. At Walmart, we have multiple clubs. So this way we can give them the insight onto which club might be best for them. And we're not just pointing them at, hey, go check out our website. We are adding a personal touch. We also follow that up right after that. We have open office hours. So all of our members can come and attend open office hours. If they have pathways questions, if they have, hey, how do I get those cool backgrounds that you have? Whatever the question is, we have that. So every Monday, the only day we don't have a club meeting anyway. So every Monday at lunchtime, we have those 2 back-to-backs. And if they can't make those meetings, I always tell them, set up 15 minutes with me because we can solve anything in 15 minutes. So don't make it a big deal. Just make it a small little piece of information and then give them that personal touch. That personal touch always makes a big difference when someone's reaching out and asking about Toastmasters.
Okay. Lark?
Jackie, can I just make one more comment? If your club is a club 12 and under in membership, what Denise has just said is a great way to mentor your members. And so I always, whenever a club says to me, Lark, we struggle with assigning mentors to our new members because we just don't have enough members. I say, do exactly what Denise just said. I say, hold meetings where you can answer any of their questions. You can talk to them about pathways, about meeting roles, about officer roles, whatever questions they have. So you can give them some educational information, but you can also give them a time to ask their questions. It's a great way to mentor all the members of your club, and especially the new members. And in particular, if your club doesn't have a lot of members to be individual mentors.
Thank you. Thank you, Lark. All right, Jesse, would you play the last segment of Erica's video?
The last thing I want to cover is onboarding. So you've gotten a new member. They submitted their application and paid their dues, and they are in the system. Now what? The way that we acclimate them to the club is important for them to have a quality and a positive experience. So I created a formal onboarding process. I schedule a meeting via Zoom or Teams with the new member and go over the expectations of our club. And I've included this document for you to see. But we go over the website. I introduce them to our club website, the Toastmasters website, as well as our district website, and show them all the resources that are available. During this time, I make sure that they're able to sign up for roles. In our club, we use Google Docs. So I will have them go on to the Google Doc and sign up for their first role, which most likely is going to be grammarian or eye-counter. After I have them sign up for the role, I have them go back to the website and locate the resource to fulfill that role. So there I'm teaching them about how to get information off the website. We cover the Toastmasters promise, and you can see the list of things that we go through on board. And I talk about all of the club officers. I even introduce them to Youthly. I let them record a Youthly, which, by the way, is what I have recorded this entire session on, just showing them all the benefits of Toastmasters membership. And then I let them know that if they have any questions, they can contact me. I share that form with the entire executive board so that everyone can see what their goal is. That's what I left off. The very first thing we started with is, what is their goal? Why did you even join Toastmasters? And I share that with the president and the rest of the executive meeting. From there, the VPE is able to assign that person a mentor, and I ask for their permission to use their quote, and then I would make a graphic welcoming the new member, and we would share that on social media. So these are some of the practices that I have used during my time as VPM, and good luck to you in growing your club. Good luck. Bye.
All right. She has included several resources in her contact information. And if you would like that, she will actually give you the template for everything that she has done and put together, and also a copy of her video that she's put together for you all if you would like that. I will put her information to you in the chat, and you feel free to reach out to her, and she will provide that to you. We're talking about onboarding new members. Quickly, before we wrap up, because we start on time, we end on time, some of us will hang around and answer questions, but I do want you VPEs and VPMs and VPPRs, please put your questions in the chat if they have not been answered here, so that we can create an FAQ page or get those answered for you. I'm going to open it up. Any of our panelists would like to talk about onboarding? I know Lark has already talked about pre-boarding. So anyone else, would you like to speak on that, Vita or Denise?
I think the onboarding process is important. And I think people having a clear understanding of what's next and what to expect. If you level set with people, then you get to a place where they have an understanding of what to expect. But if you kind of, like, hey, just go online and pay your dues. Okay, now what? Like, what's next? So having a team engaged and having the handoff set up so that people know, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to meet with potential members. Once they have agreed or committed, we're going to complete the application process, introduce them to the tools that we use as a club, make sure that we understand what their goals are, patch them into what the club goals are, have solid discussions, set up a mentor for them so that they have somebody that can walk with them as they start their Toastmaster journey. All of those things are essential, but you just can't leave people hanging and expect that they will figure it out.
All right. Denise, Lark?
Well, I think Denise said it all, but I will say that my Today Toastmasters Club, we meet on odd Thursdays. So we meet the first, third, and fifth Thursday if there is a fifth Thursday. On the second and fourth Thursday, that's when we hold our onboarding sessions. That's when we do, as Denise was talking about, that's when anyone can come and ask a question. So that's when we allow them to just attend those meetings, and we'll answer any question they have. But we also do talk about pathways and easy speak during each one of those meetings.
Okay,
the only thing that I would add is, it's so hard to forget where a new member is. Where were we when we first started? We had that deer in the headlight look. What's going on? What is all this, right? And at that time, for those of us that have been in for a while, you got handed a manual, and so you could flip through that manual. Well, now that things aren't handed to you, it's a little harder to figure things out because you have to go log in someplace, you have to go look. So having that, again, personal touch is just so valuable to make sure that you remember where they are. We've also created a member success plan. That's what we call it, is a member success plan. And on that, you list out their goals. They can put their goals on there. And then we tell them what it takes to be a successful Toastmaster: attending at least 75% of the meetings, being engaged, giving a speech at least once a month. We recommend every 3 weeks. And then, turning your camera on, being in person, listening to the speaker, and filling roles. And then we have a part that shows when they give their speeches. It's anybody who's been a project manager, It's a project plan. You put the date in there. It automatically tells you when to give your next speech. So it prompts you. And so we call it the member success plan, because now they have something to help them, guide them on how to keep moving through the program. And you can always share it with the VP of Education so they know what they're doing. But again, put yourself in the shoes of that newest member and remember how you didn't really know what was going on, and try to meet them where they are in order to help them achieve their goals.
And I will say, for those of us, or for those clubs that you currently don't have an onboarding process, you can start this by actually rebooting with the current members that you have.
Mhm.
Start with your new members, and that way you have not new members, with your current members, and you have an idea of what this program looks like before you get that new member. And then that new member is coming in, and it's going to be easy to execute on the onboarding process. But before we can get to onboarding, I know you all say, how do we get the members? So we've talked for the last 55 minutes. We've had people to share, and we've heard what can be done and some ideas and strategies of what can be done. Now we're calling you to action, to put these ideas in place. One of the things that I did here was, someone said that earlier. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was Lark, Denise, or Vita, but it's not easy. This is stepping out of your comfort zone. So one of the things that I would do, I would challenge each one of you, whether you are VPM or VPPR, or you're here to learn this information, step out of your comfort zone and learn how to ask and bring people to your club. So use it as a challenge to step out, and let's see what we're going to do, how we're going to bring new members in based on the information that you've heard here tonight. Now, we have a lot of incentives that are going on for clubs of all sizes. If you haven't seen the latest newsletter, I have dropped the newsletter in the chat. Please look at our latest newsletter, our February newsletter. It has all of our incentives in there. We have incentives for clubs with 8 to 12 members, for clubs with 12 to 18 members, and clubs with 20 plus, for clubs with 20 plus members, to increase your club size and bring new members to the board, to the table. Use those incentives. Take those back to your club members and use some of the tips that you've gotten here tonight. Again, this presentation will be available to you, and all of the resources that we've heard about today will be available to you. We have a couple of minutes left. Are there any burning questions that we didn't answer?
Could I
We talked about,
three?
go ahead.
Could I recommend 3 recruiting ideas that I have not heard here? Because we've used the same methods over and over for many years. Back in the 90s, I was in District 55 with Lark, and we had the same problems then. And I don't know how you ended up in 57, Lark. I'll find out someday. But here are 3 ideas, and I think the third one is a killer. First, number 1, we recently had what we called a homecoming. We rented the auditorium at the library, and we brought Toastmasters from our books that we had back 30 years. You'd be amazed who all showed up. And some of those we got to come back because they never had a good reason for leaving in the first place. Now, method number 2, we asked the club one day, how many of you have 2 friends? You know, everyone did, or 2 relatives. And then the next question is, how many of them need Toastmasters? And we challenged them to bring them. Some of them did. And these methods have worked. We went from a club that had 12 to 15 members, and I told them we're going to get charter strength. We're now, I think, at 26 in 6 months. But method number 3 is this, that I don't I have not heard anyone mention. So kind of keep it to yourselves, okay? This is political season. Go to some political rallies. Those candidates are looking forward to meeting people. Just walk up to them and say, introduce yourself and say, I'm with Toastmasters, and do you know you could use Toastmasters? I told a lady the other day, I said, you know you had 27 R's in your 5-minute presentation? So you would be amazed. We've got sheriffs, city directors, JPs for the county. We have a lot of impressive folks in our club because they know that they need Toastmasters. Give it a try, but don't tell anyone where you found out about it.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Driggers, for those 3 nuggets. And I have dropped them in the chat for you all. And remember to save the chat before you leave. The way you save the chat, at the bottom of your screen is a box that says chat. Click on it. And at the bottom, you should see 3 dots that says more. And at the top, when you click there, it will say save the chat. And that way you'll be able to save all of the information that was dropped in the chat here this evening. It is 8:31. I will officially, before I officially adjourn this meeting or this chat, this fireside chat, I'd like to recognize our program quality director, Distinguished Toastmaster Lisa Smith. Distinguished Toastmaster Lisa Smith.
Thank you, Madam BD. Hello, everyone, this afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I don't really want to prolong this. I just want to say hello and great meeting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would like to say, you heard at the beginning of this meeting that in order to bring in new members, we must have quality meetings. Do you all agree with that? If you agree with that, come off of mute. Do you agree that we must have quality meetings?
Yes.
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 If you would like,
yes.
If you would like to learn tactics and strategies for quality meetings, then join us back here next Tuesday with past International President Pat Johnson. She will be sharing with our presidents and vice presidents of education on how to put together strong agendas and creating that quality environment so that you, vice presidents of membership and VPPRs, can get people in there and keep them and turn our guests into members. Again, Toastmaster Vita said, we want to give them something. We want to whet their appetite. We want them to stay. So we've got to give them some substance when they come to our meetings. So join us back here next Tuesday. You will receive information. Will go out tomorrow with the link and everything about our meeting. Next Tuesday, we will have a cozy conversation with Pat Johnson, and she will share with us how to put together quality meetings. So the call to action for each one of you is to go back to your clubs, determine how many members you would like to bring in between now and the end of June, and start working your plan for new members. Utilize our incentives that we have put in the newsletter in the chat. And that's how we're going to measure to see what club is bringing in new members based on you all achieving those incentives. We thank you for sharing with us tonight. We will officially adjourn, but we will hang around and answer any questions that you all may have about membership. And we love to be invited to your meetings when you all put them together. Don't be afraid to invite us to your meetings. Thank you so much for coming. Any parting words, Lark?
Thank you for this golden sharing tonight. And Bob, love that. Absolutely. Contacting past members. That is the first thing a VP membership can do, is contact all those past members, have an event as you did. What a wonderful idea. So thank you for sharing that. Madam District Director, thank you for inviting me. I have enjoyed and learned from this golden experience.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining us and coming to District 43 to share your journey and things that you have learned along the way with us to help us become stronger clubs and in turn, a stronger district. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week for a conversation with Pat Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks for having me. Good night.
Good night.